Cam said a while ago that in relationships, you can feel when your partner is saying something to you where they're avoiding or scapegoating. But do you listen to yourself? Do you listen to the feeling that you got that's saying, red alert, they're not telling the truth? Do you listen to it? This is where, perfect example, we love reality TV. We watch Married at First Sight. There was a moment in the current season in Chicago where one of the women on the show had a feeling that her partner was cheating. She couldn't confirm it, but she just had a feeling. Turns out that she was right. She was right. This happens all the time. The intuition that we all have and are blessed with comes through in these moments when you can feel that someone is not living in integrity, in alignment. This is the same thing that happens when you're talking to someone, whether it's your partner or anyone else, who gives you advice that they are not taking. And that split second where you have your mind arguing with your felt sense in the body, and then we choose the mind, is where we lose. When in reality, if we just recalibrated and said, actually, I felt something in my body that I am going to pay attention to, and I am going to look for patterns. We talked about this in a prior episode. I'm not saying we can't give someone a break sometimes. If this happens 3 or more times, it is a pattern. And that's how you can spot it. If you feel that your partner is doing this scapegoating of accountability, not once, but twice, but 3 times, that means there's a pattern in their behavior. And they are not turning that mirror back to them, and you are not going crazy. Do not gaslight yourself. You felt it, and it's real, and you have evidence now. Feelings are evidence. We've just been convinced that they are not. We've been convinced to only pay attention to what we can see, to what our mind can comprehend, when the real wisdom is within us that we ignore almost on a daily basis.
I absolutely love that. We heard this a million times where women fall in love with what they hear, men fall in love with what they see. Oftentimes, what we see is more of an objective truth than what we hear. That's why words are cheap and actions aren't. But this is one thing that women have, I think, right out the gate, that is more of an advantage than what men may have, and that is a heightened sense of intuition. So yes, they're more likely to fall for the salesman. Mm-hmm. And also, if they step more into their divinity, they can curate a human experience where their entire life is based off of a feeling, is based off of their gut intuition. And when they do that, when they honor that, and how it grows for men and for women, how our intuition becomes very heightened is by listening to it, going through with it. So when you hear bullshit and you see bullshit, you speak up about it.
Right.
Not saying you got to confront them about it, but I'm saying you no longer do what they want to do because you honor yourself, understanding that what they want to do may not be aligned with who they actually are.
Right.
You don't allow yourself to fall for whatever they're saying.
Right.
And so I think this is an incredible opportunity because we started this conversation, and we'll go back to it around the mirror exercise. Mm-hmm. But the solution to that problem that people fall into, and every other problem, is not fully embodying their intuition.
Yeah.
Or when they do have a feeling, going against it. If everyone in that, twin flames universe had a heightened intuition, number one, they wouldn't be in there. And number two, the next thing that comes out of those people's mouths, they'd be like, oh, that just feels wrong. I'm not going to conform. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to change all the crazy things they're having them do. They would immediately leave. And so the number one problem for women and men is of a lack of ability to listen to ourselves.
Yeah.
The lack of ability to follow that feeling. And if we can instill that back into both genders, the game will change. It'll a lot less marriage problems, a lot less friendship problems, a lot less relationship problems in general, and therefore lead to a much happier, healthier world.
So if we just determined that it's people not listening to their intuition that causes all their problems. So we've said this before, when it comes to listening to your intuition, it's really funny because it starts small, right? So like the very first time that this happens to you and you feel like someone is telling you something that doesn't feel quite right, it feels like a feather, it comes down, it's like tickles you, and it's like, you feel that? Doesn't feel quite right. If you don't listen to that one, then it becomes a brick, okay? They say something doesn't feel right, and now there's a brick thrown into your reality. And usually that's something somewhat contentious. Like, let's say a guy, let's use a relationship example. I'll actually use the example from Married at First Sight because it's a perfect example. The feather in this case was her getting a text message that confused her. She got a text message. This is, give you some context. She was married for the first time, never met this man, met him at the altar. And from day one, she was not into him. We've talked about this couple in a prior episode on how much should you share in early dating if you want the whole scoop. She was not into him. Both parties are struggle busing through this 8-week marriage, okay? And the first thing that starts to happen is that he sends her a text that says, "You look so damn fine. I want to eat you up." This is when they're having marital problems. Not that face. I'm not reading your text to me, okay? Come on now, Ayo. So
I'm like, you just look at your phone?
I know. Sorry, I'm reading my text yet again from the last episode. So she gets this text and she's like, what the hell? Because they're going through problems. It's like late at night. It's 9 p.m. He's out for the night. And she immediately has an alarm go off. That was the feather. Now she listened to it. She knew that something was going on here. And the thing with intuition is if there's something to it, it stays. It has staying power. If you are reacting to something out of your past wounds or trauma, it usually is something that, just like fight or flight, your nervous system gets activated, you deal with it, you understand it, and then you come back down. But intuition's different. Intuition has staying power. So this woman, Michelle, noticed that she couldn't get her mind off the text. She couldn't stop thinking about it. She couldn't stop talking about it. She brought it up to him multiple times. That text wasn't for me, was it? It was meant for someone else. Are you talking to other women? She had all this in her head and she brought it to him. Every time she brought it to him, he lied. Every time he said, no, I'm not. Next conversation. Well, actually, I am talking to this woman that I did talk to on Tinder, but I wasn't texting her. And then as she kept really going at him and asking him direct questions, he started revealing more and more of the truth that he had been hiding the entire time. Now, the brick of this situation for Michelle was when she started to put together some timelines and was like, wait a second. He was out with another wife on the show during this time. And that's just odd to me. Our names are Michelle and Madison. And he probably meant to send it to her. But this was big, right? Because this was an accusation against another wife on the show, which has never happened before. That literally means a pair was cheating within the couples. So she meets with the girls, tells them all this stuff. She starts talking about it. Madison storms off. That was the brick. Madison randomly, the girl, who she thought was cheating on with her husband, just gets up and leaves the room. And it was weird because it was like, wait, why is she so activated? That's the brick. The Mack truck is what ended up happening at the end, where they all realized it all came out and they admitted Michelle was right about every single detail of this. That text was meant for Madison. They were cheating. They were having an emotional relationship, apparently nothing else, but who knows. And the Mack truck was literally, her being hit with this conversation where David and Madison come to her, spill the tea and say, yeah, actually it was true. We did have a relationship. We were cheating. But she got it from the feather.